Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the Front Three and the new series that we're doing, Fixture of the Week. I'm joined by Cole, who is experiencing some technology issues. So of course he's on as usual. We've got a Liverpool fan, Darren, and we've got a Chelsea fan, Daniel. So make sure to introduce yourself, guys.
I'll go first. Hey guys, I'm Daniel, son of Chelsea on YouTube. Do Chelsea previews, reviews, all things Chelsea. Started up a few months ago, growing week by week. Thanks for having me on, and very happy after yesterday.
Okay, great. And let's hear from you, Darren.
Yeah, well, I used to do YouTube videos, but then I just stopped that quite a while ago. But yeah, thanks for having me on as well. And of course, I'm not happy about the result. Still fuming.
Anyway, that aside, let's get into probably what was the most controversial topic of yesterday, and that was both the sides starting lineup. So, Darren, let's hear from you and how you felt mainly about the Liverpool lineup, and most notably the inclusion of Emre Can into the team.
Yeah, well, I was happy with Amre Khan coming in for Darren, but when it came to the defense, I wasn't happy with that. I mean, I did not like it when I saw Kolo Toure being dropped for Dejan Lovren because I thought Toure had a great performance against Madrid, but for some reason he was dropped for Lovren, who's been probably our worst defender this season, and then Glenn Johnson came in for Manquillo, which I didn't understand that as well.
So, Daniel, obviously this was a great result for you, and Jose Mourinho, you got to say, got his tactics right for this one, and he brought in Ramirez for Willian in this game and utilised him on the right hand side. So overall, how do you really assess the Chelsea lineup going into this game?
To be honest, I was a little bit surprised because usually if Jose goes 4-3-3, what he'll do is he'll bring in Ramirez, like he done yesterday, but he'll take out Oscar. He'll have um, he'll have more of a 4-3-3, have Willian or Schürrle on the right, usually Willian. But I was surprised that he used both Ramirez and Oscar in the team. But for most Chelsea fans, like including myself, and obviously for Mourinho, what he said in the pre-match press conference, he said that Oscar was our best player, has been our best player so far this season. He's been in good form and scored that great goal against QPR. But I was a little bit disappointing because and our shape kind of showed that in the first couple of minutes we didn't really have a natural right winger, and Ramirez tends to drift in inside as well as Hazard. It kind of left a bit of space in the middle that Liverpool could exploit, which you saw in the first goal. But overall, I was happy with the team because I think there's a lot of balance, like well balanced in that team, Matic and big game players really. So I'm
Okay, great, great stuff. And Cole, I'll finally come to you as a neutral fan. How did you really opinionate the both sides lineups going into this game?
Well, quickly on Chelsea, really, what more can you do in essence? They have probably the best squad. They can make two dynamic teams out of what they have on the bench reserves, plus their first team. So there's really not too much to debate there. Obviously, Ramirez coming in for Willian, that's debatable, but it's obviously something that throughout the season you're going to try. On a Liverpool perspective, it's debatable. I always just look at the back four, maybe Kolo Toure having a decent game against Madrid. Maybe he deserved it more, but it just comes down to, I guess, maybe who's fit. Kolo Toure is obviously older, so that could have came into it too. The only thing for me, I don't know, Dejan Lovren for me just seems really shaky. I don't know if he can be much of a trustworthy defender. I just see him more for the liability right now. But that's just my thoughts.
Okay, great. And obviously one of the most debatable topics of the game was probably Gary Cahill's goal. And I mean, it shouldn't really be debatable considering that it did go over the line. But nonetheless, do you think that this goal would have counted had goal line technology not been around at the time? So, Cole, I'll come to you first, and then I'll go on to Darren and Daniel.
Would it have counted if that? Probably not. Really, if we can go back, I think there was a couple of years ago, there's an issue. I can't remember who Bolton was playing, but there was that issue. There's been issues since then. There was the ghost goal for Lampard versus Germany, I believe it was. So like, there's obviously the human eye doesn't see it all, but this is definitely an advancement. They have it in almost every other sport, so why not really have it now? It's the imperfect inclusion, and it can only go up from here.
Yeah, and Darren, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, when Cahill shot, I actually thought it didn't go over the line, and if it wasn't for the goal line technology, I don't think that would have been given because it looked like Minute kept it out at first, but then you saw technology, and it was actually in.
Yeah, and finally, Daniel, coming to you, your thoughts on this?
Well, the goal line technology obviously helped us. I think in the past few weeks, I can't remember the other goal I've seen, but I've seen decisions where there's been like a dispute of whether it's gone over the line, and of course it gets given as a goal, which obviously is more positive. And our refs aren't good anyway, so anything that we can use to make sure we get the right decision is positive, and it definitely helped us out yesterday because I agree with Darren. I think if that was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, maybe I don't think that would have been given, especially it being at Anfield. I think that could have played a part in it, but all positive really, technology.
Great, great. So moving on a bit, it has to be said that neither of these two clubs, Liverpool or Chelsea, are blessed with the greatest defences at the moment. So, Daniel, I'll come to you first. Chelsea's defence in this one, I thought at times it looked a little bit frail. I think you've got to really ask yourself the question of how much longer does Terry have, and really how important is Gary Cahill to this back line at the moment?
Gary Cahill is massively underrated. He really is. I mean, the amount of times I hear people, even Chelsea fans and like other people, say that Gary Cahill is only good when John Terry's next to him. Firstly, I point out that he was next to David Luiz in the Champions League final. Like people forget that. And his performances for England have been good. I thought he was one of England's best players at the World Cup, even though it was a terrible World Cup. I think he is so good. He's so competitive. Of course, he had he was kind of involved in everything yesterday. I mean, of course, he had the deflected. He got the deflection for the first goal, which was unfortunate. Got the goal, and then the two incidents, which one of them was a clear handball. But for me, he's brilliant, and I don't think our defence is that bad. Of course, if you look at it, we've only had, I think, 3 clean sheets this year, which isn't normal, but we have opened ourselves up with the style of football playing. We're playing more attacking, more open, with players like Fabregas who are more attack-minded. And I think that I'm pleased with our defence because I do think we've probably got the best defence in the league. Of course, that stats won't show that, but I still think we're good enough that we can adapt to the game and we can go to places like Anfield when we're 2-1 up and just sit back. And I'm pleased with our defence. I think JT is just brilliant. He a brilliant captain, and for me, his performances haven't for me dipped, of course, pace-wise, but for me, he still looks good enough to be captain of Chelsea and still looks good enough to be playing in the Premier League, in my opinion.
Okay, that's great. And Darren, coming on to you, I mean, I think it could be argued that one of the more standout players in the Liverpool defence yesterday was actually Glenn Johnson, to quite a lot of people's surprise, myself included. And I think the player that's come under the most criticism at the moment in this Liverpool backline is certainly Dejan Lovren. And do you really think that you've upgraded on your previous employee in Daniel Agger in that sense?
No, I think we downgraded. I mean, we sold Daniel Agger for about 3 million, and we spent 20 mil on Lovren. And the funny thing is, our defense is actually somehow worse this season compared to last season. And with Lovren, like, he just can't do the basic, simple stuff right. He just can't pass it around. Like, whenever he passes it, it just goes to the opposition. Like, every little stuff, he just gets it wrong. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
with
sorry, go on.
sorry, with Glenn Johnson, like, he's probably been arguably our worst defender this season, him or Lovren, but he actually had a decent game yesterday, to be fair to him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Liverpool backline at the moment is something that is so rejigged, reshuffled. I mean, apart from maybe Man United, you have to say that you've had some of the more complex and more decisive back lineups, certainly. And I don't know if Sacco's injured. I think he's certainly a player that you missed on the moment. But it looked like Lovren was that player who was going to come in and fill that Jamie Carragher void that had been left for a numerous number of years now. I mean, overall, what would you say is your preferred back four at the moment?
Right now, I would say Manquillo at right back, Sacco and Colo and Moreno at left back.
Okay, great. So I'll ask you once more, Darren. Who would you say was your Liverpool player of the match and why?
Coutinho, and especially in the first half, I thought he was just unbelievable. The way he just got through so many of the Chelsea players, but when he got through, when he was on the attack, there was just no one. Like, he just couldn't pass it to anyone because Balotelli was just nowhere to be found. But yeah, Coutinho was unreal.
And Daniel, who was your Chelsea player of the match and why?
I think maybe I'd go for Matic just because he's so good in. I think, in my opinion, he's the best defensive midfielder in the Prem, and you could even stretch that best defensive midfielder in Europe at the moment, in my opinion, just because I think he senses danger. I say he's like the second coming of Makelele, really, because I haven't seen a player, defensive midfielder at Chelsea, as good as Makelele since he left, and Matic for me is improving week by week. He really is the unsung hero of Stamford Bridge. He really, I mean, when being at the games and watching, you really do realise how much work he puts in and how big of an influence he is on games, because he isn't just getting the ball and isn't just stopping attacks and stopping the creative players from other teams. He's actually helping out in terms of starting the attack, which I like. He cleans up and then gets it forward to our attacking players like Hazard, like Willian. But I'd maybe just below Matic, I'd say Costa, just because I felt that he was there when we needed him, scored that brilliant goal, was in a tussle with Skirtle all day and came out on top. And he really did, for me. He was just brilliant. And yesterday, of course, he had his shirt ripped, and great to see him get to double figures. And I remember seeing a stat that I think Torres, in the time he was at Chelsea for about 4 seasons, never reached 10 Premier League goals, and in Costa's first season, he's already reached that. So that's positive.
Yeah, certainly remarkable stuff there. And Cole, coming to you finally as a neutral fan, if you just want to pick out a Liverpool player of the match as well as a Chelsea player of the match and give us a reason why.
Liverpool, easily Coutinho. Just the gaps he was able to create between the defense and the midfield for Chelsea were unbelievable. Had some good opportunities. Arguably, probably could have been Balotelli if he would have had some good service and got some good opportunities. But with a decent defense in Chelsea, and obviously with Matic and Fabregas right behind you, you're obviously going to have that pressure. And for Chelsea, you have to go with Diego Costa. He just shows up in the right minutes, scores the winning goal. Can't get much better than that.
Okay, great opinion there coming from a neutral fan. And okay, guys, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all that wraps up the first episode of Fixture of the Week, and hopefully this will be an ongoing series that we're featuring on the front three. Let us know if you enjoyed it, if you'd like to see a few more of these, and like, rate, subscribe to the channel. You can find the links of every single person that's featured on the show today, both Daniel, Darren, and probably myself as well. So make sure to get subscribing, and thank you very much for watching, guys.